Sorry. Good morning. Sorry, apologies for being late. I think I was joining a bit. Network was kind of not very not very responsive. All right,
No
but I should
worries.
join. All right, so let's get started. All right. So I'm very looking forward to today's sync. All right. So would like to
Ish.
know. So Victor, maybe you can start the sync for us. All right. Okay.
All right. Let's start with the positive stuff. So, first, I think I was supposed to have this
Always
as
start with the guest. Yes.
the gains. Yes. So I'm gonna start with Ragav. Don't know what happened here, but I was able to get in touch with Ragav yesterday. We had a really productive conversation. So the what we agreed on with regards to the way forward, basically I tried to take him through the implementation side of things with regards to how we want to integrate, MQTT with the special WhatsApp app that WinHow built. And it was quite productive. So what we have agreed on is, and which is something I'll do today, is to create like issues
Okay.
where
Okay.
we use the GitHub issues and just create the issues here and then assign to him, for example. But the idea was, he said the agreement was like we can sort of list all the issues now, like as a list or
Okay.
everything we can remember or everything I can remember. I'm gonna put it on there, and then we're gonna have like a sync session once a week on Saturdays in the evening
Nice. Nice.
time.
Okay.
And then the idea
So
is
of workflow, right?
yes, yes. So, but the key is gonna be in the issues creation, where we'll basically specify. So for starters, I'm thinking of maybe I should the first issue should be something around the front end design, just so he can sort of familiarize himself with the code base. He said he has looked through the code base and he has not like done a deep dive per se or cloned the thing, but he has looked at the code base and he I think he's looking more at the patching side of things rather than rebuild. So I don't think
Okay.
he's looking to like understand what's going on inside. He's just looking to implement. He's like a developer, a software engineer basically.
Okay.
um,
I see. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's
yeah, I think it works. So creating a new issue, and I mean basically create issues. I'm gonna do that today, and such that the issues are around, for example, the front end app, maybe adding a few buttons, as well as the back end side, which is integrating with MQTT. And then maybe on this
right.
Saturday,
Right.
we'll discuss. I will set up a session. I've not set that up yet. A recurring session every Saturday where we
Oh,
go
nice.
through all of those things. He also said when he gets a chance on Wednesdays and Thursdays, he's happy to join. I join our sync sessions as
Okay.
well.
Okay. Nice.
Get
All
into
right.
so
Great.
that's on that side.
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
we have a session with Professor Herman and Alida today at 2 o'clock. It's already in the calendar. I don't know if Alida got it. But that has been set up. So we will have a session.
Sorry, yes, I just
Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm not sure if Professor Herman has made any progress on that. I don't know if Alida has a GitHub link for us.
I do. I will send that to you. I completely forgot. I'm sorry.
All right. All right. Thanks. And yeah, we also have a session today with Professor Herman.
So quick feedback is, I mean, Alida, you have access to this page, right?
I don't think
I mean,
so.
okay,
Oh.
all right, then make sure you do. Okay. Okay, Victor, make sure Alida has full access to this page.
Sorry, you should
okay?
get this, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is kind of like a dashboard, of
Hmm.
what everybody is doing now. Okay. So just maybe like a tiny habit, you can just check in to see like what's being assigned to you and maybe
Okay.
what is kind of being expected. And if there's any question, you can also raise, right? And to discuss with Victory. So, so basically you can use this as a sync tool, right? To sort of make sure everybody's on the same page. Yeah. All right. Okay. So just a quick feedback. All right. So Victory, yeah,
Okay.
please continue. Yep.
All right. Okay, sorry. I'm just wanna almost sent this. Done. Okay, I just sent the link now to you later. Sorry. All right.
Thank
So
you.
now to the heavy stuff. I think the key part was to decouple the sections and start with section 4. Basically finish the proposal. Yes, I think that's the key word. So to that, I say, where are you? All right. As you can see, there's still quite a few yellow highlights.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with the problem definition. Yes, I cleaned up the problem definition based on what we discussed yesterday. I added this section with regards to the decoupling of the vast library. And please tell me if you need to, if you can see my screen.
Okay. Yes. See if Alida can see it. And I think this just before Victory starts, you know, I think you for Alida, it might also be very helpful, and also for Josh, I think as well, to I guess to understand about the structure and the logic behind, you know, why Victor is writing all these things, right? Because it's probably going to be useful for your master thesis as well. Okay, so yeah, and if you have questions, I think it would be also nice. You can just raise them, not just as a feedback for Victory, but also to basically get a better understanding of, like, let's say, why certain things are being put this way, for example. Okay. Yeah. So try to listen to Victory with that glasses on. Okay. Through the perspective of you know, like writing your own master thesis. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. I just like to. Okay. All right. So Victory, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so just to add on that, just in said. So the idea is this the vast project itself is quite vast. And forgive the pun. It's in terms of the way this research is written, is done such that there's quite a few like open-ended questions there, where, for example, we are saying in this case we're using Voronoi overlay, right, to partition the nodes. I think something that was discussed was, okay, is Voronoi overlay the best? That's a research question, and that's something that can be investigated further. Maybe, for example, with a leader, if you from a research perspective, that okay, this is what was used in the original research, but is that really the best? What are the, you know, alternatives, and how do they compare? You know, how do they perform compared to Voronoi? And the idea is, by the time this stuff is done, there's quite a lot of questions like that around, you know, is this really the best? Should it be P2P? Is there a better way to distribute? Stuff like that comes up. Anyways, I'm just going back to this. I think this was the key note here in terms of research contribution, that there's going to be a bit of a decoupling of some sort of the vast library, such that it can become a versatile tool. And this it ties down to the thing where it supports all types of applications. With regards to the vast, basically what we're trying to do, such that what we're trying to do in terms of how our application can be used across multiple applications, or something generic, or something generalized. Yes.
I'd like to quickly feedback a bit on this. Okay.
Okay.
Which is, I think what needs to be decoupled is maybe VAS from VON, VON. Okay. Because VAS was actually intended to develop as a spatial PubSub library. Okay, so if you look at the interface of VAST, actually it says nothing about Voronoi. You see?
Okay.
Okay. So I guess the idea is, you know, potentially within VAST, you can, well, there's like partitioning, there's flow balancing, there's forwarding, right? But right now we are using Voronoi as the partitioning scheme. But can we just replace that,
Okay.
right, with a different kind of partitioning? I think that is kind of, I mean, as a research question, right? How do they compare? As an implementation question, how can you design the architecture so that partitioning can actually be plug and play, right? Okay,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I guess what needs to be decoupled is actually the bond layer,
Okay.
because that's the
partitioning
part,
part.
right? That's the partitioning part, but maybe that can be replaced by some other partitioning, right? And you still retain the spatial pub/sub functions, or the forwarding, right, for that matter, or the load balancing. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Okay.
Okay, all right. All right,
I'm gonna reward that.
so yeah, so please continue, yeah.
All right. So it's sort of oh jeez, where did this come from now? Okay, this is not part of a plan. Something happened. Word. Anyways, I'm just gonna continue. I'll clean that up. And then we have the theory, as discussed. We have motivation, the pub/sub, the centralized and decentralized, and then I sort of tried to go a bit into the vast library. And I think I got a bit stuck in this in terms of how deep do you go? For example, when we say network, basically this talks more or less about P2P networks. But in theory, the P2P has already been addressed when discussing decentralized architectures. Where is it now? Yeah, decentralized, which is somewhere here. So it's a question of how deep in terms of detail do we go as to what P2P networks are and how it's implemented in this case. Then there's the Voronoi overlay partitioning, basically talking about how the partition happens and how it manages the states of each node. And then, okay, yes, we go a bit into that. The load balancing part, again, this is like a sort of question with regards to, because it's also like, it's just great, it performs greedy forwarding. But how detailed do we go with regards to what greedy forwarding is, for example, in terms of what's existing and what the current, what work has been done so far from a forwarding component.
Okay. So you're kind of stuck up here, is that right?
Yeah, in terms of
okay,
exactly.
Right. So quickly feedback. Actually, just if you don't feel comfortable about describing this in details, just write the most basic version. You know, like what's like an overview for the forwarding concept.
Okay.
Right. You see, for example, the reason why we want to talk about any kind of forwarding, right? Even regardless whether it's Voronoi or triangular or rectangular partitioning, is the fact that if we want to support spatial pub/sub for arbitrary size areas, right? We talk about two kinds of scaling. Right? One is scaling in terms of the number of nodes in the system. The other is scaling in terms of the published subscribe area size, right?
Yes.
And if you want to subscribe or publish to a large area, right? And potentially the whole entire space is being partitioned and managed by many matcher nodes, then you have to have some kind of forwarding.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to design a system literally having all the matchers connecting to all the other matchers and sending messages to them. It's not scalable. Okay, for very clear reasons, right? I mean, and you can even cite like very old research, like in the old days. Okay, so you may or may not know this. There's a system called SIMNet that was actually by the Department of Defense, the DoD of US. And what happened was the very first SIMNet architecture was a point-to-point design where every station, every simulator just broadcasts message to all the other simulators, all the other nodes on the system. Okay. So as the number of nodes increase, the message increase n squared, right? It's because it's n times n minus 1, right? You have to send message to all the other nodes n times the number of nodes. So the message size will very quickly congest the network if you just simply broadcast message to everybody.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that is how a lot of design later try to limit and do not use broadcasts. Okay. And although on a peer-to-peer network, it's harder to do broadcasts, you don't have physical broadcasts, but you can easily imagine a system where the designer, all the other enters know, right?
Mm.
I mean, that's a design, that's a potential design, and that could work to a certain degree, but it's not going to scale for obvious reasons.
Mm.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
I see what
so
you,
I mean, you can describe forwarding even at this
Okay.
level. Okay, like why even forwarding is necessary. Okay.
Okay.
And then it's about how can forwarding be done, right? And potentially there may also be different ways forwarding can be done, right? But here we are just asking the question, can we do the most effective, most efficient way, such that the message, are delivered to the right target, but the redundancy is minimal, is minimized. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes. So there's a sense of, okay, there's a generalized way in which this is done, and the problem is the higher the number of nodes, if this is done this certain way, it could potentially cause a lag in the distribution or the delivery of
Right.
these
I mean,
packets.
think about not using forwarding and you want to support like a really large area publish,
Okay.
right? And what do? You send a message to every one of the nodes from yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of connections you have to make, you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's going to be slow for one thing, and you might overload the node for the other.
Okay. I see what you mean. Okay. I
Okay.
think I
All
have
right.
I have a good foundation to write on that. All right. Okay.
And load balancing is simply that if you have only fixed partitioning, you will run into the issue of as nodes move, the density of which
Yeah.
changes, right? So some nodes will be overloaded while others will be underloaded. And that could, overloaded nodes could crash, they could fail. Underloaded, that's simply a waste of the resource, right?
Yeah.
So, how you can actually adjust the workload in a dynamic way. That also helps to scale the system, make it more reliable, okay, but also, more cost effective, right?
Okay.
So Victor, can you see what I'm trying to convey here?
Yes.
Is the fact that first you can talk about something, a topic at different levels, okay, of abstraction, and you can talk about the why first, right? Why is it important? And then, what is the problem? What is the goal, right? And then in the end, it's the solution. But even then, you don't have to describe too much detail. You can also just say, so we have a certain idea about what might work, but this is what we're going to explore in this work.
Potential solution.
Okay.
Yeah. See what you. Okay. Telling a story.
All right,
Yes,
does this help?
Yes, it helps significantly actually. So there's a sense of breaking it down from what's existing, what's the problem, what do we want to achieve based off this problem, and what we are suggesting
Yes,
as a
exactly.
and
Just those three things. And you already have right. Okay, and even if you cannot write too much, that's fine too. Just have something for that section.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I will. I was actually considering just putting them in like this, like a paragraph format and not necessarily subsection. But I see. I will work in that. I'll work on that. So we have the decentralized. Then we have our approach, and this is I think I did a bit of an edit here, where now in the past there was just a vast forwarding vast layer, but now there's a sense of there's vast, there's an API in between, and then there's the front end, which is I think this actually supposed to be back end.
Right.
Just look at that. Sorry. Jeez, that changed again. So what I did was
Actually,
I
you
just
can even
called.
remove the bound partitioning, I think. Just
Okay.
partitioning, that might be more clear as to what the, the abstraction of the architecture. And
Okay.
also this opens the space for other potential partitioning to be added, right? Or to replace.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay. So there's the front end application, which is what we started with the back end side, which is we are saying, okay, there's the back end system that's subdivided into these components, the pops up, the matching, and the distributed match. What's the word now? The forwarding part, or the centralization part. And then we have the front end, which is supposed to be an application of some sort, or some form of something that can be used to measure the performance of the backend version. And the idea is this API
Okay.
is supposed to
I'll
be.
switch device. Sorry.
Sorry.
Switch device.
Okay. So Alida, please feel free to jump in if I'm saying nonsense, or if there's like a better approach to doing things. I'm not a superstar. I am just.
And you're
writing
assuming
stuff.
I am.
No, I mean like
No, I
basically try
understand.
to help me when you can.
I will try.
Please, thanks. But yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I didn't think I could write 22 pages in 2 weeks, so that's a positive. But it's not enough. Hi, Shunyan.
Hello. Yeah,
Can
sorry,
you hear me?
my battery went out. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. All right, that's fine. So the idea was just to break that down and then start discussing them one by one, and then sort of break down the backend side as to all of that, basically what's supposed to happen. This spatial broadcasting part, I still think it needs a bit of cleanup in terms of referencing it to existing stuff. And yeah, there's still some work that needs to be done with regards to the preliminary results. Quite a lot of work actually. I was supposed to do that yesterday. That afternoon I scheduled for myself. That was the plan, but work sort of came unexpectedly. But I'm still looking to finish this week, which is today, still Thursday, and I'm gonna see what I can try to add. But from a perspectives point of view, looking back in the 2-week period, I think maybe I was able to accomplish 65%.
You probably got a lot more done, right?
No, I definitely got a lot more done than I expected.
Okay,
but I wanted 80%, not
right.
60.
Right. All right. You can do that today, actually.
Yes.
You can cross the 80% barrier today. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I guess quickly, is there any feedback or questions from Alida regarding, I guess, what Victor just mentioned, or maybe your current work progress?
Not that I can now think of. I was just wondering if it would be possible for me to actually read through this proposal
Mm.
while you're still busy editing it.
No, you can, please. Again, there's a bit of chaos. If you see spell errors and okay, so the thing is, I have like the British English background, and I think this thing is American English. I'm not really sure what
Oh,
the
I
difference
understand.
is. So if you see like stuff like
They
that,
just use,
please.
they don't use. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Victory, by all means, send Alida access of a
Okay.
copy of this, okay?
I'll
Even
do that.
in its current form. Because
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that'll help me with a few more questions just because
Okay.
yeah, I want to read it so that I can maybe come and bother you with some questions.
that's an
No
excellent
worries.
idea. That's excellent idea. Okay,
No worries.
all right,
I'll do
great.
that.
So any other questions for Alida?
Not
Okay.
currently, no.
Okay, all right. So, all right, so Victoria, I think there's one more feedback. So regarding the paper, do you have still any questions you feel stuck? Or so far you feel good?
I
You
think
have
I feel
Aspaha.
the major concern, I wouldn't call it concern. In terms of the results, when I picture it or when I think about it, all I see is maybe illustrations, maybe some GitHub links as to what has been done and what needs to be done. But
Right.
that feels more like a page at best, of maybe
Okay,
even less
okay.
than half a page of
All right.
description.
All right,
Which
so you're not sure if that's good enough? Is that the
that,
question?
yeah, I don't know if that's good enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Let me put it this way, a page is better than 0 page. Okay,
Okay.
so get that page done first. You know,
Okay.
that's like the first step. So you do what you can, even with the
Okay.
next tiny step. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Okay. And the second thing is recall that we talk about for now, even qualitative analysis can be good results to describe.
Yes.
Okay. So what this
Yes.
means is that I believe through this many months of discussion, there's already something that has come out a lot more clear, right?
Okay.
For
Okay.
example, right, we decide that maybe we should adopt MQTT as the
Okay.
interface, as the main interface between application and the library, right? I think that is something you can share and talk about, right?
Okay.
Why is that so? Why are we thinking this way? And how are we planning to extend MQTT to support spatial PubSub so that it eases adoption and makes it easier for developers to learn about and using spatial PubSub, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely consider that as a result, you see?
Okay. Not an
Okay,
approach.
do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you mean.
And this also opens a good research question of, right, how can we, you know, I mean, it may not be as much, it may be like more an implementation question, but this is certainly important from the perspective of how can we test this idea more widely and get more people to use it, right? And the answer is form of MQTT. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
that's
what you mean.
something you can talk about, right?
Yeah.
Right? I think you have ideas and you can explain, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
one. Okay, that's one result. And the other result that I personally feel is significant is the fact that we have now determined an architecture for the spatial PubSub library that is more modular, right? And the dependencies are also more clear, right? You have the network at the bottom,
Yeah.
you have the partitioning, right? On
Yeah.
top of that. And even we believe different partitioning can coexist at the same layer and be replaceable, right?
Okay.
And then on top of that, you have the forwarding to support scaling PubSub areas. And also load balancing that sits along with that, probably at equal, importance or equal weight, right? They can work alongside with each other, right? And then on top of that is an interface that supports the spatial PubSub functionalities. And you have application on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay, that is also a result that you can describe.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, finally, the forwarding design. I think that is also something we have discussed a bit extensively about, right? Where, if you recall, you have already spent quite some time to understand the principles, right, behind the forwarding mechanism, the Borel
Yeah.
test, right? So while that is somebody else's work, okay, an existing work, I think the new insight is that how can that be used to, because that was actually used just to support AOI, AOI messaging
Yeah.
or sending message to an AOI. We are thinking, how can we use this to support not just kind of a publishing, but also the subscribing,
Okay.
right? To support spatial PubSub. So the question is, how can you support spatial PubSub, both subscription and publishing with a forwarding mechanism, right?
Okay.
I think that is also something you can share some ideas about, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, when you subscribe, you use the forwarding mechanism to make sure all the matchers that are affected have a copy of the subscriber list, right?
Yeah.
And when you're publishing, again, once you have match up who the subscribers are, you can use a forwarding mechanism to reach all of them. Or if you're simply publishing to an area, use forwarding to basically make sure everyone, all the matchers within the published area get that message so they can send to their respective subscribers.
Interesting.
Now,
So,
Victory, okay, do you have a lot more ideas now about what
yes.
can be written?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, do you see what I mean now by qualitative results?
Yes. So basically more like insights and
Learnings,
potential.
insights,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That has actually already accumulated as the result of discussing and working and thinking about this current research topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right. Okay. So a final remark regarding the developer. I think it might be helpful if you can get someone experienced with development. I believe you have a friend in the States or somewhere, right? A high school
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
To have a discussion, maybe find a time about how to break down the project scope and the steps to do. Okay. Because you can probably think of what the steps are, but maybe have someone more experienced to help you to break it down together, while make it more practical. Okay, so
Okay.
I guess that's a final feedback. All right, so Victor, maybe you can plan ahead for this time for today.
Yes, so I think for me it's just all right. All right. So I think with the leader, it's the GitHub link, and we have a session today. Professor Herman, Josh is for Vast. I'm not sure if that's been done. Okay. So it's basically article. Session with yeah. So down.
Okay, okay, yes.
Schedule. Oh, da. Okay. Oh, spread. Okay. I don't know if I missed anything.
Okay, that
Yeah.
looks good. All right.
Yeah.
So is Alida also clear about next step?
I think so.
Okay, all right, great. All right, so I think tomorrow at 9 a.m. we're going to have the mastermind, right, for about an hour. So will Alida be able to join? I mean, we'd like to invite you.
As things are now going, I should be able to join, and I think Herman did send me the link,
Okay,
um,
all right, great.
but
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. It depends on if I get any work in that time.
Okay, all right, that's fine. But if you're able to join, I think that would be great. Okay.
Okay, I think I
Just
will probably
to-
be able to join for the start of it. I just have a meeting
Okay.
at 10, so if that starts earlier, then I probably will just have to leave a bit earlier.
Okay, all right, okay, sure. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow at the mastermind then, all right? Okay, and
Thanks,
and
yeah.
Victory, yeah, and have a, have a wonderful day ahead. And look
I'll
forward to
try.
the great news tomorrow.
Great news. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Okay,
link
all
to
right.
be sent.
So yeah, take care, all right? And best luck.
Thanks.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, bye-bye. Yeah,
Thank
take care.
you.
Bye.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks. Yeah, bye-bye.